What's going on, guys? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and let's kick it off. So first up, we've discussed Abrdn. They are a very large asset manager with over $600 billion AUM. We can see on Hedera.com under the Abrdn profile, $4 trillion projected value by 2030. And they're tokenizing multi-billion-dollar funds on top of Hedera. So for example, money market funds, getting into real estate, all types of things. Here's the 15-minute interview I uploaded about 4 months ago, Duncan right here of Abrdn. So they're tokenizing their funds on top of Hedera. Their total AUM is over $600 billion.
You said you manage something like, you have like something like 600 billion pounds or dollars. I don't remember which one it was, under management. How much of that is tokenized so far, or how much of that's going to be tokenized in this first year?
That's a good question. So far, Archax tokenized investments in our money market funds this year. I guess totaling them up, those funds are probably well over $20 billion. And the amount that you can say that's tokenized will depend on how much we get in inflows. But we've seen the interest has been absolutely massive. And we're not surprised about that, because money markets is something that really there's real demand for, because of the yield component, and as a safe haven type asset. It's hard.
The reason I asked that question was because I'm trying to get an idea of the size of this particular commitment that Abrdn's making to tokenization. You mentioned how massive the opportunity is in the financial sector, and to my knowledge, I mean, we are watching all the enterprises that are out there, blockchain journalists, see what they're doing with blockchain. And there certainly is activity out there in the area of tokenization. You see JP Morgan doing some stuff with its Onyx project. We saw just recently the Monetary Authority of Singapore complete a massive pilot with a bunch of other investment companies. Of course, there's you, but this is not going mainstream as far as I can tell, at least not yet. If the opportunity is that massive, how come we don't hear every single investment company out there jumping on it?
Yeah. So I can kind of speak from our experience, and I think a lot of our peers will be in a similar position. Is most of our businesses have been around for a long time. We're nearly 200 years old, and so we think very long term. And we are, I would say, cautious about moving into new areas. So there's been, we've been working on this for now well over 3 years. So it's taken us that long. We want to make sure we understand. There's an education element that needs to come with it, and the market infrastructure needs to pick up. The regulatory changes as well help. I do think that there's been this whole the institutions are coming kind of thing for a little while, and frustratingly, it's not kind of come to fruition. Or there's a lot of real world examples. There's a lot of proof of concept, but not real live examples. But I can tell you that now, more than ever, the kind of the buzz is there. More and more people are talking about this. Every one of our peers is looking at this. Either they're looking at it to learn now, or they're already involved in live projects. So it takes time. And if you go and do a security token on a regulated fund, you need to go through the regulators.
Yes.
And those regulators on a plain vanilla fund might take 6 to 9 months, 12 months sometimes to approve a fund. So you just have to go with the flow as it relates to the kind of old traditional markets as well. We can't all move at the pace of blockchain, I suppose.
So this original interview was like 50 minutes or an hour long, so I went through this and clipped some important parts into a 15-minute video about 4 months back, but just tons of great information. And that gentleman Duncan over at Abrdn has explained Archax's role, Hedera's role, all types of things. So you can read more about Abrdn if you're curious and how they actually are leveraging Hedera for the Hedera token service and the Hedera consensus service. And even Duncan, that same guy in that interview, we're excited to see where this goes and how we can help Hedera find more use cases in financial services. So I wanted to quickly go over that because Hedera just shared some more information about Abrdn yesterday. Now, we've shared the tokenization estimates by BCG of a $16 trillion business opportunity. We've shared the SWIFT volumes or estimations of $24 trillion. In other asset classes and markets, but this is interesting as well, the global alternative investment market is projected to reach $18.3 trillion by 2027. So this thread I did is a little older, highlighting the SALT clips or the conference last year, but we can see also, even back in 2023, JP Morgan already transacted more than $700 billion via tokenized treasuries. And as Duncan over at Abrdn says in that original interview, this is a 10-year journey. Referring to this total transformation of tokenization, better infrastructure, regulatory clarity, things like that. That doesn't mean we have to wait 10 years to see an asset or different alts do 10x returns. We usually see that opportunity each bull run or every few years per these cycles when volume rotates into this asset class. But I'm referring to when this asset class matures and there are trillions and trillions of dollars, potentially dozens of trillions tokenized, with some of that value being connected to public networks, either in a completely public instance or a hybrid instance. And I've shared before why I believe the future of blockchain 4, not Web 3 or Web 4, but blockchain 4 is going to be hybrid. It's the same thing we've seen for different tech shifts. So I believe for enterprise adoption, public networks have their place. You have a second audit trail, there's better transparency, there can be better liquidity, but private networks and privacy also have a place. Of course, we could go on a tangent talking about zero-knowledge proofs and even privacy features on public chains today, but let's stay on task. So the tokenization of everything is a real thing, and alternative investments include private equity, hedge funds, art, antiques, derivatives, real estate, and more. Alright, last point for Hedera today. So right on Hedera's website under ecosystem, looking at enterprise applications. There are a variety of applications in healthcare, tokenization of funds, advertising, supply chain, energy, etc. And we don't know which of these applications are going to take off and which ones are actually going to create the most or highest number of transactions, which in theory could provide the greatest demand for HBAR, the token on Hedera Hashgraph, and not even considering up-and-coming projects or entirely new use cases. So right here we have BP Flak. Investors include NVIDIA, one of the biggest companies in the world, and Alexa Fund, so Amazon is behind this. Blockchain-powered federated learning and AI certification. A scalable platform where individuals and organizations globally can contribute computational resources fostering powerful AI model training. So decentralized AI computing. There's a variety of networks out there today that are competing in this, but with the recent boom in innovations with ChatGPT and generative AI, there's going to be a lot of excitement, a lot of opportunity, and a lot of competition in this space. Next up, for XRP, the XRP Ledger and the automated market maker. So if you're not following Panos Mek on Twitter or X, he's an absolute must follow. He's the co-founder of this group. I'm not sure how to pronounce this. I should probably watch a video, but ANODOS Finance. Now, if you're interested to learn about the AMM and using it on the XRP Ledger, check this out. You can follow these guys right on X. This is their handle. They're now live on DevNet, and you can test, practice, and play with the XRP Ledger AMM with fake money and get familiar with it. And make sure you read everything. This is not the final version of their application and interface, but this is a great way to get your feet wet. So in this thread, there are step-by-step instructions. You can go to the XRP testnet faucet, and you can choose the network, and then choose DevNet. And then your DevNet account can have 10,000 XRP loaded and ready to use. So there's a video tutorial right here just to get yourself familiar. And we can see with the XRP Ledger AMM, the XRP and USDC pair, so XRP and a stablecoin. It's important to understand this when you're providing liquidity if you're not familiar with impermanent loss. This is the type of preparation I think anybody that's interested in participating should do, because you have to be familiar with this. Next up, shared by Crypto Eddie, so we can see Phase 2 has launched. She's actually retweeting from the Hong Kong Monetary Authority for the Electronic Hong Kong Dollar Pilot Program. So this pilot is exploring the potential of programmability, tokenization, and more. Ripple, the company, is a participant in the sandbox with others such as Alipay, Bank of China, and MasterCard Asia. So we can see Ripple, we know their involvement with Fubon Bank with the HELOC flow, so a home equity line of credit. So literally everything is going to be tokenized. So we can see a variety of crypto networks in this space are working with institutions, banks, building products, building infrastructure. And we know that the People's Bank of China even met with Ripple in their offices back in 2017. And what I think of is what Duncan at Abrdn said. For Abrdn, they're roughly 200 years old. They have to move very slow, but they're exploring this technology. So it's important to understand, especially if a central bank is getting their feet wet into tokenization and programmability, they're going to be slow. But crypto use cases and retail, maybe DePIN, can move a lot faster because they're not as heavily regulated as these finance sectors are. And that's a huge reason why I hold high caps such as XRP, because there are trillions and trillions of dollars in cross-border payment flows, and the opportunity is huge for any of these networks to get a slice of that pie. And that's also a reason why I hold some lower cap deep in projects, because their total addressable market over the coming years is around 3.5 trillion. I think there's huge opportunity, we just don't know which ones move faster. But when it comes to cross-border payments, the total addressable market may be a couple hundred trillion, as BCG estimates that the total cross-border flows could be 250 trillion. We also have to consider how tokenization could play a part in here, considering things like HELOC or home equity lines of credit. And there are just a bunch of considerations, guys, considering spot ETF applications for altcoins in the future, Ethereum, Solana, XRP. We can see the CEO of Grayscale right here filed for the Grayscale Bitcoin Mini Trust. There's going to be new trusts, new funds, and other spot ETFs like we already have in other jurisdictions like Switzerland. And we know Casper Labs is over at NVIDIA's GTC event as well. The ACTUS conference this year is taking place on May 15th. So this is Alan. We've shared some clips of him before, even highlighting Casper. And right on the ACTUS, I believe Financial Research Foundation, on their website, we can see sponsors include Casper and Nucleus Finance. And there was a really good panel of Alan over at Davos during a Casper panel explaining the utilities of ACTUS tokenizing financial contracts. We can see they're continuously building right here how to make ACTUS runnable and formally verifiable in a zero-knowledge environment. And to finish up today's video, guys, we have TradingView linked in the top of the YouTube video description. You can use this platform completely for free to look at assets, understand price charts, and see them and how they react on different time frames. You don't have to be a pro in understanding TA. You don't have to understand Fibonacci retracements. You don't have to understand Wyckoff and wave counts initially, but just simply looking at these price charts, understanding when some are lower than others, when some are higher, and looking at basic support and resistance, you're going to get better and better. So you can create an account, you can have the mobile app, you can go on your PC and use the 100% free version. If you wanted to get granular and look at assets side by side and just have a bunch of indicators, you can pay, but that's completely up to you. When I started charting, I was just looking at support and resistance. I do like adding specific EMAs or just moving averages, but right here is the 21 EMA. So just basic settings, super easy to add to the chart. You can change the color, the thickness, whatever you want. I always like looking at price charts, looking at what happened in the past, and it helps me keep my expectations in check, especially when there's a big move to the upside or a big market crash. We can see the 21-week EMA on API 3, resistance to some degree, candle bodies below this level, resistance, candle bodies rejecting this level, poking above here, falling back down, breaking above, falling back down, a little resistance, and then boom. Back test right there, and so far I've wicked to this level. So when I'm looking at different assets, super high level without getting granular, and we're on the weekly time frame. So some of these draws take weeks, months, or years. I can see this 21-week EMA has been respected to some degree with a back test here. We're wicking there. I would like to hold this level, and it doesn't mean that we have to hold this level. If we break this moving average, I'd be looking at the next level of support. But it's something I do on the weekly time frame, just looking at structures during previous cycles, in bull runs, holding back, sometimes even back testing or crashing after all-time highs and holding around this level. Especially in 2016, 2017, just holding all the way up. So that's just something super easy, big picture I'm looking at for this cycle, wanting Bitcoin at the very least to hold above the 21-week EMA. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and a huge thank you to all that hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate if you could hit the like button, let me know your thoughts down below, and my link tree is linked in the top of this YouTube video description, with all links, crypto resources, and discounts. I'll catch you in the next one.